don't know whether I'm supposed to bring this on stage. Woo, Sam! Well done, Sam! Look!
That was good.
I'm putting this down, it's too heavy.
Okay, it's so heavy.
Down directly in front of you two, right here. Hi.
Hi.
One, two.
Hello, Chris. Would you?
I did. I saw Justin Timberlake tonight, and he has seen the movie, and he gives his thumbs up, which is honestly that began my night, and I just sort of felt like, man, if that's amazing. That's all you need. Justin Timberlake's like, yep. It was amazing.
It was definitely a time though where you're trying to figure out like what your role is, and so I was sort of moving into this next stage of gone from like being a child actor to a grown-up, and there were the roles, like the role of Lady Bird, it was not around back then, and that was only a few years ago, so it's an incredibly special thing to have a character like this exist now finally.
I think it's been such an incredible year for women in film, both as actors and also writers and directors and producers and people who are really coming to the forefront to tell their story about the world as they know it from where they're standing. Honestly, my job right now, I think, is to occupy the position of writer and director and to be that person and to tell these stories.
No, it wasn't really planned. A lot of people had been asking me if he was going to come. I knew that he had high hopes when he made his movie The Room. He kept it in theaters 2 weeks on his own dime to qualify for the Academy Awards. I knew, he had really high hopes for his movie. So here we are, 15 years later, and I just thought it would be a nice moment to have him up there.
And I'll just say that while they were announcing the nominees, my brother whispered to me that if he won, I was going to go on stage with him, and I said, no, I'm not. And he said, yes, you are. And then he dragged me up there, and that's what happened.
Well, in our movie, the kind of final moment is when Tommy goes up and everyone's cheering at the end of the film, and he says, I couldn't have done this without Greg, and I really couldn't have done this without my brother. So that's why I brought him up.
Hello. Well, I think that the important thing about fables and fairy tales is that they were created to address things that you cannot address as easily and embody as beautifully as you do with parable, which is what we are. And I think the important thing tonight in many ways is that there was Jordan Peele, and it was Shape of Water, Get Out and Shape of Water, standing in a legitimate, beautiful way next to drama, comedy, musical, action, war, everything, We have a place in the cinematic conversation that has led to the creation of beautiful, powerful images, but also thematic weight. And I think that this was very prescient for me, as it is for anybody that lives as the other in a society. It was very pressing for me to talk about it, and I talked about it through this fable. I'm Mexican, and no one loves life more than we do, in a way, because we are so conscious about death. So the preciousness of life, standing side to side to the one place we're all going through. Let's say everybody in this planet boarded a train that was final destination death. So the train, we're going to live. We're going to have beauty and love and freedom.
Not necessarily to appeal to red and blue states or people, but just in the treatment of the characters in the film, I didn't want anyone to be completely the hero or anyone to be completely the villain. Obviously, there are people in it who are highly questionable and immoral, but I didn't want to completely make them the villains of the piece, I guess. And even the sort of supposed heroine, I didn't want to make her flawless, or we didn't together. You know, we wanted to make her as strong and uncompromising as possible. So it's more about looking at character attributes than trying to appeal to any kind of demographics, I think. But we were really trying not to judge any of the characters, to just show a snapshot of a town and tell a story about one woman, really, but not to be judgmental in a sort of Hollywood way.